Hello, everybody, wherever you may be from coast to coast and sea to shining sea. My name's Larry. My call sign in amateur radio is Kilo 7, Hotel November. Welcome to your weather update for Thursday, October 20th, 2022. We'll start first with your A1A. Here's the way it looks today. There's a solar plug down on the 8 o'clock area of the sun. New sunspot reaches coming up here at about 10 o'clock on the sun. We're seeing a lot less sunspots coming right now, but it's just a temporary thing. I think we're going to see some SFI slowly climb in the next couple of days. Backside of the sun, here's a good view of it, that little square area there. That's a new area that's coming up towards us this weekend and hopefully going to keep our SFIs up. Last few days of magnetosphere view, this would be if you could take all the brightness of the sun away and just see the sunspot areas. This is what it would look like, exactly like this. So we'll go through a 5-day progression. Here is exactly what that looks like here until we get to today, which looks just like this. You can see a solar plug coming again there at 10 o'clock, one at 8 o'clock as well. And not many sunspot regions facing our planet, but we have had some good activity from the sun. Here is the coronal hole map here, 34 facing Earth. Let's elevate our wind a little bit. Not too much yet, but we are seeing a slightly higher noise floors than we heard yesterday. Your solar flare detection, here is what we have. It says visible sunspot regions only 1. However, according to the magnetosphere view, there actually are a total of 4 that are available. So we'll just kind of play with that. Right now, M flare, there is a 5% chance of M flare. C flare possibility 40% today. That's good. We still have decent SFIs to work with. SFI is only down 1. We thought we'd have a drop yesterday, and we did. It's down to 113. Smooth sunspot number at 50. Area number is down to 230. That's down 10 from yesterday. KP index, here's your noise floors. We did get that rise earlier today to KP3. We're currently at KP2, which is quiet, which is great. We want to keep it there. Looking for similar conditions again tomorrow, most likely going to be in the S2 to S3 noise floor level on the bands below 10 megahertz. And then coming up on Sunday, quieter conditions are ahead. Solar wind was the lowest earlier this morning at 1357 UTC at 404.1 kilometers per second. Right now about 430 kilometers per second. Bravo Zulu latitude was facing north earlier today. It is now facing south, unfortunately. QRZ conditions, SFI stable at 113, sunspot numbers at 33, A index of 5, your K index is 2, EME degree fair today. So if people want to bounce signals off the moon, you have fair conditions. BZ latitude is a minus 0.2, and I have noticed some significant fade on the bands on 10, on 12, and on 17 meters earlier today. So that is definitely causing some QS Baker out there. The solar wind, 440.7 kilometers per second, and you can get to 10 meters. Notice it says signal to noise level here, S1 to S2. We may get that up a little higher as the day goes on. Current Kilo Charlie 2 Golf map. This is the middle of the day here in the United States. Late for Europe. I'm sorry we're a little late for you today. Had a few appointments to get to today. 22 megahertz up in Anchorage. We're at 27. Southern California, 28. Bitterroot Range of Montana. 30 megahertz there in Denver. 30 as well in Brownsville, Texas. 29 Panhandle of Florida. 30 there in the Great Lakes region. 32 Washington, D.C. 29 if you're in New England. So that 10-meter line is right there around the U.S.-Canadian border. It will continue to go north as the day goes on. All of South America right now on 10 meters, except for just a very, very small portion of it there in the western edge there, the northwestern edge of South America. Currently, MUFs that are in Europe, we've got 16 in Great Britain, 16 in France, 17 in Spain. Still working 20 meters right now in Europe, which is great. 16 megahertz as well if you're in Germany. 14 in Italy, and 14 as well in Sicily. So even as far east as Italy, still getting that 20-meter band. If you head in towards Ukraine, still on 20 meters at 15 megahertz. Far East, getting ready to wake up right now to a very good day on 10 meters. Currently 11 megahertz in Tokyo. And the north coast of Australia, starting the day out with some beautiful conditions. Right now on 17 megahertz, so good conditions for them to get their 18 megahertz, to work the 17-meter band. And the 20-meter band is just everywhere, it seems like, right now. Europe, And in the western and eastern edge, still working well. And as you head into Australia, some very good conditions today. Both North and South Islands of New Zealand will also have some great conditions to work HF all the way up to 10 meters today. Let's take a look at your VHF. So this is tropospheric ducting today. This is courtesy of Dr. William R. Hepburn at duxinfocenter.com. Fantastic site to take a look at your tropospheric ducting around the world. Here's what it looks like if you are in Southeast Asia today. Little bit of activity there in the northwest corner of Australia here. We can see some good activity. Really not much activity here today on the eastern seaboard. Some good stuff down southeast Florida, little bit off the Cape there in Massachusetts, and also some in Nova Scotia as well on the east coast of the United States. West Coast is a little different. Some great conditions coming from northwest Washington into British Columbia. A very large area of tropospheric ducting coming from South Oregon right down into the Pacific. And then California coast, also some really good conditions for some tropospheric ducting. Same with Baja right there in Mexico. Some good conditions as well. Not too much in the islands of Hawaii, although Maui does look like it has a little bit of good conditions right now for some tropospheric ducting on VHF, UHF. Heading towards the Caribbean, there you go, your view of the Caribbean right now. Yucatan Peninsula has a little bit going on. Same as the southeastern part of Florida, southwestern edge of Florida, right there around the Keys. You can really see it around Fort Myers, a little area there of some tropospheric ducting going on. Also, South Pacific here, this is the eastern part of the South Pacific. You've got some tropospheric ducting again coming out from Australia and various islands there in the eastern Pacific, the southeastern Pacific. As we head in towards Europe, we're going to take a close look eastern North Atlantic. You can really see it on the African coast. A tremendous amount of tropospheric ducting, even on the east coast of Spain in the Mediterranean Sea, and going just north and south. Some great conditions for you to work some trough duct. Good stuff there. A little bit here against in the south part of the United States. And finally, one more look at Europe. Wanted to get a little bit of look there at you. In the south part, right there around Normandy in France, there's a small area that's of tropospheric ducting as well. And tons of it right now in the Caribbean, in the Mediterranean Sea, Sunspot cycle 25. How it's going compared to what was projected. And folks, I will do a full ham radio live show shortly. This is simply just a weather segment. There's a lot of people that just want the weather, and that's why I'm just doing this separate, okay? Let's look at sunspot number progressions for solar cycle 25, and this is with the predicted sunspot number as things have went on. Take a look at that. That looks like it's going to peak sometime around 2024, not 2025, late 2025. This looks like it's more around 2024, as I said, and around 200 for a solar cycle sunspot number maximum. That would be huge for solar cycle 25. Let's take a look at this is the SFI. This is how you get the SFI. And notice right now, currently, we are just about where they forecast this to be. Predicted radial flux was right there in the NOAA forecast. The black area is what the actual observed radial flux is, but you can see we've already hit the maximum in that place. So we're doing really good for solar cycle 25. For HF operators, this is an outstanding bit of news because it means the next couple of years are going to be really special on the HF bands. Your Hammond shortwave forecast today, powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of ham radio. SFIs to slowly increase. Don't look for 10s and 20s. Look for 2s and 3s. It's going to be short, but they will increase, I think, today and tomorrow. Noise floors, S2 to S3 at times today. Could lower to S1 to S2 tomorrow. Voice bands north, mid, and south latitudes, 20, 17, 15, 12 in the 10-meter band. You also got some great CB radio skip on 11 meters for folks that like the CB bands. You've got a chance to work some DX today. Data modes, great conditions, 30 to 10 meters in all latitudes. And this is a great day. If you have a lot of fade, QSB, on the voice bands, man, digital modes are great to work, so it's an excellent day to work your digital modes. Tonight on the amateur radio bands, noise floors S2 to S3 tonight. They should lower to S1, S2 tomorrow, possibly S0 at times. Nighttime amateur radio band openings of 160, 80, 60, 40, 30. Best DX at sunset, going to be on your maximum usable frequency. Your best DX sunrise, work 40 meters and get the best calls you can until about a half hour after sunrise. Shortwave band listeners, your daytime bands today, 31, 25, 22 in the 19-meter band, and our shortwave nighttime bands. The noise floors could be a little high tonight. You'll still get some great signals, especially out of Europe and Asia, here in the northern hemisphere, here in North America. If you're in Asia or you're in Europe, possibly in Africa, this will be a good night for you to work shortwave. A little bit high in the noise floors. S2 to S3 should lower tomorrow to S1, S2, and S0 at times tomorrow. Your nighttime shortwave openings 120, 90, 75, and 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 22, and the 19-meter band. Open in the southern hemisphere, that good old southern hemisphere, for about 90 minutes after sunset, and the signals will fade away. Great conditions to work your amateur radio, whether it's on HF, VHF, or UHF today. Thanks for watching this short weather segment. I'd like to welcome you to Ham Radio Live. The full show is coming up, and I hope you enjoy it. We're going to take a special look at Joe Walsh. Until I see you again, God bless you. Thanks for watching Ham Radio Live. Goodbye, everybody.